Good evening. Welcome to the October 16th Town of Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Teresa, will you call the roll?
Councilwoman Flood. Here. Councilwoman Stander. Here. Councilman Morelli.
Here.
Councilwoman Wallowa. Here. Supervisor Barrett.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve Town Board meeting minutes of August 2nd.
Second.
By Mr. Morelli, second by Ms. Wallowa. Discussion.
Councilwoman Flood. Yes. Councilwoman Stander.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowa.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes, communications and announcements, just had a few things here. One, we had a very successful drive Saturday. We collected tremendous amount of donations for the Captain Backpack Program for kids going back to school. And also we had a gentleman, Peter Torres, who's will soon be an Eagle Scout. As part of his Eagle Scout project, he collected instruments for the Albany Education Fund. So I want to congratulate him because he collected over 20 instruments, which he was very thrilled with that number. So all in all, it was a great day. I want to appreciate everybody here on the board that participated, and Gene Spiegel from my office, and Pam, our reception, was there as well. So I don't want to forget anybody, but I want to thank everybody for your help, and it was a very successful day. I do want to mention that Plank Road has reopened, and Nadler Road will remain closed until towards the end of the month. Is that true, Dan? I think it was the 27th was the target date.
That's the target.
So if you had a chance to take a closer look at the drainage, if you want to call it that, prior, as you look underneath the road on either side and look at it now, you'll see a huge difference, and that is why we went through a painstaking process of trying to attain support and approval from state and federal agencies to get that done. So we expect that will help the drainage in that area, while not getting in the way of any regulations that are in place by state and federal authorities. Same will be true on Nadler Road when that project is finished. So very glad that these projects will be completed, and hopeful that the homeowners in that area will see immediate benefits. Last night was our last scheduled Sunday night concert. We had a very successful concert summer series this year. A lot of great talent, and the fact that last night was the last night just shows how fast summer goes. We did have one rain out that we had talked about rescheduling. Mila, is there anything to update us on that?
We're still working on it. The date, we were hoping to go like the following Sunday, and the band's not available, so we're still hoping to, within the next couple of weeks, find a date that can work.
When you say the following Sunday, you mean this Sunday?
Yeah. That was the original hope, but they were not available. So we're still trying to work on, go back and forth with dates.
Okay. So anyway, that last night was the last scheduled concert. We'll see if we can reschedule that one rain out. This Wednesday will be the last concert or last performance for the children's series on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. So catch that one, and bring along some youngsters who will enjoy it. We were getting some inquiries about an event that involved Kevin Herter here at the Common. Kevin is, I'm sure many of you know, is local young man who went on to play in the NBA. He's been in the NBA for a few years now, playing for the Atlanta Hawks. His dad and I had a conversation about Kevin wanting to get back to the community and work with some kids on a special event. But we had talked about, general concepts, but nothing had been finalized. And it was just a few days before, apparently the event was posted on social media. So that precipitated some calls to the Parks and Rec office asking about how to sign up for the event, which was not finalized, and including how people might sign up. We expect there would be a big turnout and a lot of interest. So certainly there would have to be some kind of a way to have youngsters register. So as of this morning, we have some additional information, and still not finalized, but at least we are getting closer. The date would be September 4th from 9 to 1. It would include Kevin working with some youngsters on drills and shooting, as well as the possibility of an autograph session, meet and greet session as well. So that is tentative at this point. And as soon as it's finalized and we have all the details, we'll certainly post that information immediately. But would be nice to have Kevin Herter back in town to work with the kids. Obviously, somebody on that stage, it's very impressive, and we're very proud of what he's done so far. He's got a long career ahead of him, and we look forward to bigger and better things in the future. Also want to just mention and thank the team at the pools. We finished our second session of Learn to Swim, swim lessons for youngsters, and I would say back in February, March, we were concerned about having enough lifeguards to have 3 pools open, as we normally do, never mind Learn to Swim lessons, which we wanted to bring back since last year they had to be canceled for obvious reasons. But we were able to offer 2 sessions this year. So I do want to thank everybody at the pools and our management team who pulled together to make that happen. Also want to mention that the scheduled closing date of all 3 pools was originally August 22nd, and that was based on the roster of guards and assessing who would still be available after the 22nd. Throughout the month of August, we begin to lose lifeguards to internships or colleges or jobs. And as the month progresses, the number that we lose each week escalates. So once you get towards the end of August, we lose. We always lose a lot of guards. We're used to that. That happens annually. This year, we just didn't have the normal number of guards to give us maximum flexibility as we enter the end of August. But again, everybody pulled together, and we will be able to take the pool of guards that are remaining from all 3 pools and keep Country Knolls pool open for an additional week. So all members of the pools, whether it be Barney, Locust, or Country Knolls, obviously, will be welcome to the Country Knolls pool through the 29th. Barney Road pool, Locust Lane pool will still close on the 22nd as scheduled. So very pleased that we'll be able to offer that extra week this year. And I think that was it. Any other communications or announcements?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The last meeting I had mentioned about a partnership that the Green Committee has been initiating with a company called Ambien. We had sent home some information to homes throughout Clifton Park about how folks can join in a community solar program. I'm just proud to announce that we have exceeded the number that we were targeting, and so there really is a market out there amongst Clifton Park residents for community solar, so I'm very proud of that. I don't want to go into too many details because we have Brian Busby here from Ambien tonight who's going to go into further details about this program, but he's got some really good things to say, so it should be very interesting. One other thing is the last meeting I had also mentioned some issues that we were having at the Clifton Common with some folks having some issues not being able to use the common, going to the fields and being asked to leave. And so with my conversations with the board, we had decided that it was a pretty good idea to sit down with soccer and have a conversation. So Councilman Morelli and I met last week with some folks from the soccer club, and it was a really good meeting. I brought some of the ideas from Councilwoman Wallowit and Councilwoman Flood with us to the meeting, and the gentlemen that we spoke with were very happy to move forward and look at renegotiating the contract that we have with them, that we've had since 1995. A different board back then had entered into this agreement, and so many things have changed since 1995, and so they are more than happy to work with us on this contract and make sure that the Clifton Common remains a place for the entire public to enjoy, for all the taxpayers to enjoy. So Councilman Morelli and I will be working with Councilwoman Wallowit and Councilwoman Flood on how that's going to look. It's going to be a process, but I'm looking forward to having that renegotiation. So Tony, I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to add to that.
I mean, the only thing I would just add is, with any organizations, communication is key. And I think we started a good dialogue between the town and the soccer club, that some things we had gotten some communications from some residents and kind of held on to them. So now we've energized that dialogue. We'll continue it. We'll resolve issues as they come instead of letting them stack up. And I don't anticipate we'll have any issues in the future.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
I just have one quick announcement. I was able to take a tour at the Clifton Park Halfmoon Library today of the historical room that they have there. And I just want to make sure that the general public knows that it's there. It's a wonderful asset to our community. I want to thank Tanaya Bannon, the local historical librarian, and John Shearer, our town historian, for showing me everything that's in that room. Anybody can make an appointment to go in, and you can do research if you want to do your ancestry research or just look at the artifacts that are in there. That room houses and stores lots of artifacts and lots of stuff. It's all beautifully categorized and cataloged, so it's easy to find things. And it's also digital, so they do have some links on their website, on the library's website. So I just wanted to thank them and make sure people knew about it.
Okay, very good. All right. So we do have a couple of Eagle Scouts with us this evening. If you could, Teresa, we have resolutions for Christian Horton and Joseph Schatz. We could do those first. I'll do them.
A resolution recognizing Christian Bryant Horton on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York take immense pride in the accomplishments of our residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Christian Bryant Horton has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve this rank, Christian Bryant Horton demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited the community. And whereas Christian's Eagle Scout project was to renovate a memorial island on Sycamore Lane dedicated to Julie Dello, who grew up in Christian's house in the 1970s and strove to preserve the island as green space while battling cystic fibrosis, which she succumbed to shortly before her 18th birthday. And whereas following Julie's untimely death, town of Clifton Park dedicated the island to her as a permanent memorial. And whereas Christian's project involved a complete renovation of the memorial, which included excavating weeds and dirt, adding new clean soil and plants, mulching, and the laying of stone gravel around the memorial itself. And whereas Christian funded this project through a bottle drive and donations from family and friends, especially Kate Lamiano, a family friend who donated his time and use of his excavator. And whereas the town board is extremely pleased with the outcome of Christian's Eagle Scout project, which has revived the memorial and provides an enduring tribute to Julie DiNello's advocacy for green space. And whereas Christian's dedication to the Boy Scout oath, while using his time and energy to give back to his community, will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas Christian has also excelled in other pursuits and will be attending Drexel University in the fall of 2021 for mechanical engineering, hoping to springboard there into pursuing a career in Formula One racing. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Christian Brian Horton on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout. And we are proud to have him as a member of our community.
Very good. Why don't we do one at a time, if we might? So I'll move that we approve the resolution with a second by the entire board. Approval. Yes, please.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Christian, come on up, sir. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I do.
So I recently went to a Eagle Scout Court of Honor for 5 young men at one time. That has to be a record, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
I've never seen 5. Why don't you move that, Mike? For some reason, that's off a little bit. But yeah, so that was great. It was good to see you and your fellow scouts getting the highest honor there is. So tell us a little bit about it. But you had a long scouting journey, culminated with a wonderful project. Tell us about your scouting journey.
Yeah, so I started Scouts about 12 years ago when I was in kindergarten, but I really started probably when I was 4 or 3 when my brother started. So it's been a really long journey. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very rewarding. And I really encourage other youth in our community to join and help grow Boy Scouting. So yeah, that would be what's kind of, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And what do you think you learned the most? There's like a couple of things that really stick out to you that you learned during your scouting career.
You really learn how to teach everybody and how to lead any group of people, which is a really important skill to have. You learn how to properly communicate your ideas to a group, which is very hard to do sometimes. So it gives you a process to portray your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about your project. It was just a tremendous project. A lot of work.
Yeah,
But you made it happen. So tell us about that.
yeah. So I had trouble finding a project at first. And I went to my mom. And I'm like, I think I want to do something close to here. She's like, well, if you walked up the street in the past week, you do that island. So I knuckled down, looked into it, and decided that it really needed to be revisited.
Yeah.
So it took us about 10 days of actual work. Once we got started, we had a few big work days. Thankfully, you guys let us shut down one of the lanes, which really helped to bring in some of the heavier machinery, because we did have to excavate a lot of the soil. So that took a bit of time. But we were able to do it in a very safe manner, which was very good, because that was my main concern, because we are working in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah.
So we got a lot of we locally sourced a lot of the materials, and we funded it with bottle drive. So it went pretty smoothly. I don't really have any hiccups, and even now it still looks good. So I'm happy it lasted the winter.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too sure about some of the plants, but it's in a good spot.
Yeah, it looks real nice. And yeah, it was a unique project from the standpoint of a safety issue if you are working in the road or in the middle of the road. And the island's not that wide, so we did have to take some precautions. Formula One. Why Formula One?
I thought it was really cool when I was younger, and I still will watch through some of the engineering. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Something's off. Something's fascinated me, something I hope to work towards building for the future.
Yeah, I was talking to your mom, and she said you went to a race?
Yep, I went.
And that's really what piqued your interest, right?
Yeah, I went 4 years ago to Canada, so it was a very interesting experience.
There's nothing like seeing it in person, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like magic.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is. And you're off to Drexel.
Yep, went to Philadelphia. So.
And do you know what your major is yet?
Mechanical engineering.
Nice, nice. Well, again, thank you so much for the project and helping to beautify Clifton Park. We greatly appreciate that. And we wish you nothing but great things in the future, and it's great to see you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. All right, Mr. Shanks.
Resolution number 189 of 2021, a resolution recognizing Joseph Shanks on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York take immense pride in the accomplishments of its residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Joseph has maintained his love of and commitment to scouting while residing in several communities throughout his scouting career. And whereas Joseph has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve his rank, Joseph demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited his community. And whereas Joseph installed a flagpole and landscaping for the beautification of the area surrounding the town's Welcome to Clifton Park located at exit 9 off the northway of Route 146. And whereas Joseph's Eagle Scout project has made a difference in the lives of thousands of motorists who drive by the sign every day and now see Old Glory flying proudly as they are welcomed into Clifton Park. And whereas Joseph's dedication to the Boy Scout oath while using his time and energy to give back to his community will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas Joseph has also excelled in other pursuits and would eventually like to apply his love of our country by becoming a history teacher. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Joseph Shanks on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community.
All right, Joseph, I move that we approve the resolution with a second by the board.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandberg?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallace?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes. Joseph, come on up, sir. How you doing, Dan?
Pretty good.
That's good. Very good. So tell us a little bit about your scouting journey and,
Sorry, this is a bit nervous for me.
oh, no. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. It's just us.
Probably started about
And your parents.
8 years ago. Started with my mom being like, all right, car ride, we're going to school, and she goes, you want to do this thing called scouting? I'm like, sounds interesting, let's do it. And started around Cub Scouts and worked my way up. It took a long time. I feel like with all the time that I did and how many different troops I went to, I feel like it was a long process, very long. So, well, the main part is I enjoyed it, made friends along the way. So
I'll ask you the same question I asked Christian. You know, what are a couple of things that you learned during your scouting career that you think you might be able to use later in life?
well, probably alongside with him, I learned basic leadership training and how to lead probably a bunch of small little kittens do something that's massive. And, well, it's not easy all the time because half the time they're not even paying attention to you. But every now and then they'll listen to you and you can get a lot of things done.
Well, your project came out it's just beautiful, and we greatly appreciate it. So you want to be a history teacher?
Yes.
Wow.
Always loved history.
Yeah.
History is probably my favorite part of basically the world. Is learning about all the different cultures and societies that were building up over the times. And hope I could probably spread it to other people that may feel interested in it. So,
Sure. And tell us a little bit about your project.
well, it was a long process of figuring out which one to do because the town obviously had their own projects, which I looked into. Almost did a trail next to Kins Road. I don't remember which trail it was, but it didn't really seem like a good location entrance because from where it's at is if you walked into that road to go into the park, you could potentially get hit by a car. So I opted to do one that you suggested, Mr. Barrett, and that was to build a flagpole. DOT was the best part about it. A lot of red flags and tape and all that.
Oh, gosh, it was something, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And
I've never, we're not foreign to filling out paperwork around here, especially when you're dealing with state and federal agencies. I think I filled out as much, if not more, paperwork for that project as I have any other. It was amazing. And it took months.
and
I told Joe, I said, 2-3 months, we'll have a permit, I'm sure. I mean, it's just a flagpole. Well, it took about 6 months, yeah, 6 months later, and many emails saying, all right, hold on, still haven't heard yet. We'll get there.
well,
But we got there.
that was another part about it is the coordination with the town. I've got to thank, well, you in main part and town's keeping and grounds keeping is they helped a lot and clearing out parts of the area that helped a lot too and made room for the flagpole itself and where the flag could wave. So
Yep. Yeah, we had to do a little tree trimming, nothing major. We didn't bother putting that in the permit though. I just went ahead and did that. But yeah, Joe, it really came out nice, and it always seemed like there was something missing there, and a flagpole with Old Glory, I think was the missing piece, and you made it happen. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Countless people drive by there every single day and see your beautification efforts. Same with Christian. I mean, that's a big neighborhood with a lot of folks taking Sycamore each day, so you should both be very proud of that. So we have a resolution for you both. And it's usually tough to get you guys here in the summertime, so this is great. So why don't you come up, Christian? Yep. Joseph? So this is just a copy of the resolution that we passed tonight. And again, I just want to congratulate you both and wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you very much.
You have very bright futures ahead of you. Thank you, John. How about a round of applause? Now, we did your resolutions first, so that way you could decide whether you wanted to stay for the rest of the meeting. It could be life-changing if you did stay. I mean, you'll learn a tremendous amount, but don't feel like you have to. I mean, you probably have to catch up on your reading list for the summer, right? Something. But anyway, thank you both for being here, and thanks for all your efforts.
Mr. Supervisor, could I just make one comment?
Yes, absolutely.
I had an opportunity to sit on Joe's board of review a few months ago, and I took some notes. I don't know if it was me or someone else asked him something along the lines of what he took from his journey of being a scout. And I think you mentioned something along the lines of learning respect for others and the importance of helping others. So, and I don't think that's a unique response to you. I think it goes to Christian and all the other scouts that we're recognizing tonight. So I think that's why we value this program so much. We value both of you and all the other Eagle Scouts that have come before you and will come after you. So thank you.
Very good. Thanks again. All right. Next up on the agenda tonight is Brian Busby from Ambien. How are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
Come right up.
Thank you. So, Amy, thank you for the introduction. Brian Busby from Ambien Renewable Energy.
We are the town's partner for the NYSERDA Clean Energy Communities Community Solar Community Campaign. That's a mouthful. So what we're currently doing is offering community solar to residents in the town. You can join a local solar farm, New York State solar farm, by subscribing via the town's landing page that Ambien has created. The program involves saving up to 10% on your total electricity costs, National Grid or NYSEG. In addition, because this is a partnership with the town will be receiving a $100 donation for every resident's participation. Individual residents will also be receiving a $100 Visa gift card. This is an offering that's specific to our work with municipalities. And I'm happy to report Amy was correct. The town met its goal, and we've significantly exceeded the goal. So the goal was 10 subscribers, frankly, an easy goal to hit. But we got the 10 subscribers. We're now up to, I think, about 30 subscribers, which means so far Ambien will be contributing $3,000 to the, where is that going?
Renewable Energy Fund.
To the Renewable Energy Fund, okay. In addition, because we did hit that NYSERDA milestone, the town is also eligible for some points towards the Clean Energy Communities program, as well as a match-free grant of, I believe it's $5,000 for this community. And I'm here tonight to offer actually the same opportunity, so the same program that the town is encouraging folks in town to join, we're able to offer to the town itself, to the municipal accounts. So we did an analysis, and the town is already receiving what are called, is it Tom? The town is already receiving what are called net metering credits from a project that's on a landfill. So is it on a landfill?
Yes.
Okay, got that right, okay. So, and in our analysis, we did take 12 months of historic usage. And what we did is we said, okay, these accounts are ineligible because they're receiving net metering credits. So the state doesn't allow you to participate in 2 of these programs with the same accounts. So what we did is we said, okay, these accounts are out. The remaining accounts that are eligible makes up about 500,000 or so kilowatt hours, which is a substantial amount, which we found in our analysis, the estimated savings would be about $7,000 a year to the town. And it's the same agreement that folks in town are signing with an additional 3 months if the town needed to cancel for any reason. So residents are able to join the program, and they can exit out of the program if they wish by providing 90 days notice. The town can participate in the same program that will save the town about $7,000 a year. And we do just ask for about 6 months notice prior to cancellation. So a lot of people say it's a no-brainer. But I wanted to come here tonight and see if folks had any questions. So if possible, I'd like to open it up to the council for questions.
Yeah, so you had this initial flyer that went out. I didn't get one at my house. Got one in the town of Ballston's copy of theirs. But what was the mechanism that we entered into this? Because there's money involved that's coming back to the town. So what was the approval process to get to that point?
The approval process really was just a conversation with Brian and with our Green Committee and with our planning department, but there was nothing official at this point. for residents to enter into this agreement. If we move forward as a municipality, well, then that's a different story. There will be a mechanism should we put that up for consideration. But in order for private residents to participate in the community solar program, there was nothing official needed.
Well, if there's funds involved that are coming back to the town, those need to be accepted and directed somewhere.
Yeah, so that is something that we will definitely work on as a team to make sure that we are funneling that money into a proper location to be used for clean energy type projects.
So we could enter into multiple agreements with firms like yours?
So technically speaking, it's a state program. NYSERDA is a state agency. So you have now started your community solar campaign, community campaign, and you have now completed it. It's done. So you're eligible now for your match-free grant. I believe your green committee submitted the appropriate documentation. So you've actually completed this, what they call high impact action item, which just happened very quickly. So you're done with it.
Well, yeah, from the standpoint of hitting this
Yes.
one metric on the clean energies,
Yep.
climate smart thing. Yeah.
Yep.
But we could enter into multiple agreements with firms like yours? Is that how it
I
works?
suppose you could. Yeah, I suppose you could. You can't on the town utility account side. So another firm could approach you and say, hey, would you be interested in sharing this opportunity? We have this program. It could be identical to ours or similar to ours, and you could say, sure, we're interested in sharing that with residents. That's not usually the way it happens. NYSERDA has set all this up and set certain parameters. They've sort of made it easy for communities to partner with what is a private company to do this sort of thing because it's something that they value, because it's important. Yeah.
So one thing that we're looking at, Mr. Supervisor, just for clarification, is when those, because it takes about, I think you had mentioned, Brian, approximately 6 months from when folks start starting with this program to start receiving funds, correct?
The benefits of the program. So the town will receive the donations on a monthly basis, ongoing, once subscribers enroll. And folks in town will receive their $100 Visa gift cards as part of their enrollment. And then approximately, in November for most folks, they'll probably get a communication from us that the solar farm is going live and that they'll begin to receive this additional benefit of up to a 10% savings on their electricity costs based on power generated by the solar farm.
And we're actually looking at the conversations that we've been having is what with the money that we're receiving as people sign up, and as Brian had mentioned, we are benefiting $100 per resident who is signing up. Where exactly, instead of how, if we could set something up, Joanne from our Green Committee had mentioned a sustainability type fund. That's something that we are discussing, but we have not gotten to that next step of creating that just yet.
Yeah, we haven't contributed funds to date yet. So as I said, we just submitted our documentation to NYSERDA.
So is there some kind of agreement with this company or that we can see or?
There is no agreement at this point now.
No agreement?
Yeah, there actually we've done several of these campaigns. There's never been an agreement. Not that we're not open to entering into some kind of MOU. That's totally acceptable. It is just meant to be more of a easy thing for the community to do. Now, on the town account side, that is something that perhaps if the board is interested, I would speak with Tom about the agreement that the town would be entering into. As I said, it is the same agreement that residents signed to participate, although there's an additional 3 months notice if anybody needs to cancel for any reason. But yeah, it is set up to be pretty easy to do because it is a state program that they're pushing, they're pushing.
Is there any
Oh, yeah.
comparison?
They're pushing it. They're funding it too.
Yeah,
Is there any comparison between municipalities, like how we're doing compared to maybe another similarly sized municipality or anything along those lines?
so quite a bit bigger. The town of Amherst has given me a verbal yes, they'll be moving forward. The town of Ballston is a subscriber, the town of Hector is a subscriber, the town of New Lebanon is a subscriber, and it's a new program, so we're speaking to many other municipalities. The town of Putnam Valley is a subscriber, and just did something similar.
What about as far as residents? So how many?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah, generally speaking, if we do the residential campaign where we're encouraging folks in the community to participate, generally speaking, the town also is a subscriber to some extent. So for you guys, as I explained what that looks like, you've got these other accounts that are ineligible for our program, and those are the big accounts that use a lot of power. And what you've got left over when we did our analysis, John Scavo helped me with the analysis. Those are the accounts that are not receiving net metering credits. There's no conflict. And as I said, they added up to, in the neighborhood of 500, 600,000 kilowatt hours. And that, which is about 100 households worth of power. And the remainder, so some other communities are able to come all in with all their usage, and we're able to really provide them with a substantial amount of savings. We're only addressing your eligible accounts. I'm sure the program you're already participating in, I'm sure it saved you a lot of money over the years, the net metering credits.
Right. Yeah, it was all free.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it was all free. And they
What?
paid,
Was it
gave
free?
us, oh yeah.
So this is free as well.
They paid for all the solar panels. And they subsidize it. Private sector comes in, takes it over. We don't have any, actually the area that we previously mowed the grass on occasion, we don't even mow the grass anymore because we're not supposed to be inside the fence where we lease the property.
Yeah.
So saved us some work too. All right, any other questions? Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You
Thank
bet.
you, Brian.
All right, we do have several more resolutions here, Teresa, so if you could start with Mr. Barini.
A resolution recognizing Anthony Richard Gerard Barini on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York, take immense pride in the accomplishments of its residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Anthony Richard Gerard Barini has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve this rank, Anthony demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited the community. And whereas Anthony's Eagle Scout project was to construct dog beds with blankets for use of the Saratoga County Animal Shelter, and whereas Anthony's Eagle Scout project involved a team of volunteers who built 12 elevated beds using PVC pipe, canvas mesh, and fleece blankets to accompany the beds, allowing for the dogs to feel safe and warm during their stay at the shelter awaiting adoption. And whereas Anthony funded this project through a bottle drive in which he collected nearly 1,500 bottles to aid in the purchasing of materials. And whereas Anthony worked closely with shelter Director Carly Russell to develop a project plan which helped ensure the amazing difference that has been made in the lives of the animals of the shelter. And whereas Anthony's dedication to the Boy Scout oath while using his time and energy to give back to his community will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas Anthony has also excelled in other pursuits, including studying karate for 13 years, achieving the rank of first-degree black belt, and was recently awarded the New York State Seal of Biliteracy in the German language at his high school graduation. And whereas Anthony will be attending Siena University in the fall of 2021 to study computer science and cybersecurity. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Anthony Richard Gerard Marini on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community. Resolution recognizing James Alexander Lang on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York take immense pride in the accomplishments of its residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas James Alexander Lang has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve this rank, James demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited the community. And whereas James's Eagle Scout project was to construct and install a drop-off box for retired flags on the site of a memorial stone located at Jonesville United Methodist Church. And whereas James raised funds for the project, organized the workdays of volunteers, and installed pavers around the location of the memorial, and then oversaw the final construction and installation of the drop-off box. And whereas Jonesville United Methodist Church was extremely pleased with the outcome of James's Eagle Scout project, resulting in a meaningful contribution to the families and the visitors of the church. And whereas James's dedication to the Boy Scout oath, while using his time and energy to give back to his community, will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas James has also excelled in other pursuits and will be attending Hudson Valley Community College in the fall 2021 to study criminal justice. Now therefore be it resolved on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute James Alexander Lang on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community. A resolution recognizing Michael C. Ruse on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York take immense pride in the accomplishments of its residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Michael C. Ruse has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve this rank, Michael demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited the community. And whereas Michael's Eagle Scout project was the construction and installation of 2 park benches at the Bishop Area Nature and Historic Preserve, in addition to replacing and updating trail marker signs along one of the preserve's trails. And whereas Michael's collaborated with various town officials and departments. And whereas in addition, Michael led a large group of Scout and parent volunteers during the construction and installation phases of his Eagle Scout project. And whereas the town board is extremely pleased with the outcome of Michael's Eagle Scout project, which has resulted in a meaningful and lasting contribution to the Bishop Area Nature and Historic Preserve on behalf of the thousands of visitors to the reserve each year. And whereas Michael's dedication to the Boy Scout oath while using his time and energy to give back to his community will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in the society. And whereas Michael has also excelled in other pursuits and will be attending Clarkson University in the fall of 2021 as an engineering student, majoring in mechanical or electrical engineering with the ambition of becoming an Imagineer in the future. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Michael C. Ruse on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community. A resolution recognizing Aiden M. Sherwood on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York take immense pride in the accomplishments of its residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Aiden M. Sherwood has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is the highest award that a Boy Scout can earn, and to achieve this rank, Aiden demonstrated leadership and completed his Eagle Scout project, which benefited the community. And whereas Aiden's Eagle Scout project was to organize and implement a drive during the COVID-19 pandemic to collect and donate health and hygiene products that are not eligible for SNAP benefits. And whereas Aiden's Eagle Scout project involved organizing a group of volunteers who constructed and placed collection boxes in several strategic locations throughout Clifton Park, where over 1,500 products were collected that were organized and donated to Captain Community Human Services. Whereas Aiden participated in a town food drive during the pandemic that boosted his collection efforts. And whereas Aiden's Eagle Scout project also included providing mental health information at the collection locations for individuals and families to utilize during the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Aiden's dedication to the Boy Scout oath, while using his time and energy to give back to his community, will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas Aiden has also excelled in other pursuits and will be attending the Crane School of Music in SUNY Potsdam in the fall of 2021 to pursue a major in music education with minors in music business and jazz studies, hoping to one day become a band teacher and inspire many to love music as he does. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Aiden M. Sherwood on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community. A resolution recognizing Ryan McGilbert on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York, take immense pride in the accomplishments of our residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas Ryan McGilbert has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas Ryan's Eagle Scout project was to plan, finance, and construct Lateran Prayer Walk for St. Edward's Church on Clifton Park Center Road, and whereas planning for the project began in May of 2018 with approval for the project coming from Scouting's Twin Rivers Council the following March. And whereas Ryan's project budget was $11,200, significantly beyond the average Scout project in recent years, and included the acquisition and delivery of 19,350 pounds of paver stones to the site. And whereas the project required 14 full days of construction, covering over 26 feet in diameter, and was completed in October of 2019. And whereas Ryan has held many leadership positions within Scouting, including Senior Patrol Leader, Assistant Patrol Leader, and Troop Bugler. And his Scouting career has included attending the National Jamboree of Summit Vegetable National Scout Preserve in West Virginia, and sailing to Key West, Florida from the BSA Florida National High Adventure Sea Base in August of 2018. And whereas Ryan's dedication to the Boy Scout oath, while using his time and energy to give back to his community, will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. And whereas Ryan has also excelled in other pursuits and will be attending Lemoyne College in 2022 to study environmental science in the college's Integral Honors Program. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute Ryan McGilbert on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community. A resolution accepting federal funds distributed pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Whereas on March 11, 2021, the U.S. Congress enacted the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which, among other things, contains appropriations for state and local governments intended to assist in the recovery from the economic effects of the coronavirus pandemic and related policies. And whereas on July 20th, 2021, the Comptroller's Office received a distribution of $1,857,334, representing the first 50% of funding anticipated pursuant to the legislation, and deposited these funds in a segregated account consistent with the Coronavirus Local Recovery Fund rules and guidance. And whereas the town has formed a working group to make recommendations for investments to respond to the public health emergency, document revenue recovery eligible for reimbursement, and to make investments in prioritized infrastructure needs consistent with authorized spending categories under the Act. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts the eligible local assistance pursuant to the American Rescue Plan consistent with the final rules promulgated by the Treasury Department and interpreted by the New York State Office of the State Comptroller. A resolution awarding the construction contract for the pedestrian action safety plan project to Reichenberg Contracting Corporation pursuant to competitive bid. Whereas by resolution number 37 of 2018, the town board retained Freeman Pearson Incorporated GPI for engineering and consulting services to advance the local pedestrian safety project pursuant to the New York State Pedestrian Safety Action Plan PSAP. And whereas by resolution number 62 and 178 of 2021, the town board authorized the implementation and funding for federal aid and state Marchicelli program to fund the construction phase of the project for pedestrian safety improvements at various intersections within the Exit 9 area, as well as at Moe and Brooms Roads, and appropriating funds therefore. And whereas federal construction authorization was obtained on January 29th, 2020, and whereas GPI prepared final plans, specifications, and estimates, and the town was authorized to proceed to bid in January of 2020. And whereas after a bid opening on May 18th, 2021, GPI performed a bid analysis and recommended that the bid be performed to Reichenberg Contracting Corporation as low bidder. And whereas the town board has authorized funding to pay construction costs in the first instance with reimbursement of 100% of the construction costs from state and federal PSAP funding sources. And whereas on July 28, 2021, New York State DOT forwarded the department's concurrence in the selection of Reichenberg Contracting as low bidder for the construction phase of the contract. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts the recommendation of the project design engineer GPI and hereby awards a construction contract for the pedestrian safety action plan project to Reichenberg Contracting Corporation pursuant to General Municipal Law Section 103 at a cost not to exceed $566,595.10, and be it further resolved that GPI is authorized to notify Reichenberg Contracting Corporation to proceed with construction expected to be substantially completed by November 15, 2021, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute all contracts documented implementing this resolution. A resolution scheduling a public hearing on a proposal to amend the town zoning code authorizing the installation of solar energy systems and equipment in certain zones. Whereas by local law number 9 of 2011, the town board authorized the siting of ground-mounted solar arrays within the R1, R3, CR, HR, and HM zones. And whereas by local law numbers 2 and 5 of 2021, the town board imposed a moratorium on the processing of new applications for the site plan or special use approval of new solar energy installation systems or equipment pending further study of the effects of changed and increased state and federal incentives for solar energy development on local zoning and planning determinations within the town. And whereas Planning Director John Scotto, working with consultants Freeman Pearson Incorporated, has reviewed the New York State Solar Guidebook and the Modal Local Solar Law published by NYSERDA in comparison with existing regulations of the town as adopted in 2011. And whereas the reviewing consultants in the planning department have recommended additions to the town code, including a 3-tier classification system for solar energy systems and equipment based on capacity. And whereas the proposal includes several defined terms relative to the review of solar energy projects and mitigation measures to be considered. And whereas the proposal amendments would provide authority to cite tier 1 and 3 projects within the residential, hamlet, light industrial, and corporate commerce zones, subject to special use review and appropriate mitigation measures, including impact to prime farmland, as well as definite space and bulk requirements. And whereas the town board wishes to solicit the views of the public on the proposal, now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing is hereby scheduled to take place on Tuesday, September 7, 2021 at 7:05 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Room 1, Town Hall Plaza, Clifton Park, New York. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to post and publish the attached notice of the same. A resolution authorizing the hiring of Terry Provanci as Adventure Challenge Course staff for the 2021 Project Adventure season. Whereas the town board wishes to hire Adventure Challenge staff to conduct the 2021 Project Adventure Program within the town Department of Parks and Recreation. And whereas the Director of Parks and Recreation and Community Affairs has recommended that Carrie Urbanchi, 129 Wildwood Place, Queensbury, New York, be hired as Adventure Challenge Course Assistant Facilitator. Now therefore be it resolved that Carrie Urbanchi is appointed as Assistant Facilitator effective immediately for the 2021 Adventure Challenge season to be paid $16 an hour from budget line item Adventure Challenge staff. A resolution authorizing Lauren Pitch to serve alcoholic beverages at a gathering to be held at Collins Park on September 26, 2021. Whereas Lauren Pitch, 23 Southbury Road, Clifton Park is hosting a gathering on September 26, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And whereas Lauren Pitch has requested permission to serve alcohol in the form of beer and wine at the event, now therefore be it resolved that Lauren Pitch is hereby authorized to serve beer and wine at a gathering at Collins Park on September 26, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. A resolution authorizing Tom historian John Shearer to attend the Association of Public Historians of New York State 2021 Annual Conference on September 13th through the 15th, 2021. Whereas Mila Kramer, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Affairs, recommends that town historian John Shearer be authorized to attend the Association of Public Historians of New York State 2021 Annual Conference in Oswego, New York, September 13th through the 15th, 2021, at a cost not to exceed $517, and be it further, and whereas pursuant to policy number 10 of the town's procurement policy, all conferences involving overnight stays require town board approval. And whereas John Shearer's attendance at the Association of Public Historians of New York State 2021 conference would confer a benefit to the town. Now therefore be it resolved that John Shearer is authorized to attend the Association of Public Historians of New York State 2021 Annual Conference in Oswego, New York, September 13th through the 15th, 2021, at a cost not to exceed $517, including registration, meals, lodging, transportation to be paid from budget line item General Fund, Historian Training and Conferences. A resolution on hiring Zachary Trump as a substitute PE specialist for the Jonesville Day Camp program. Whereas the town board wishes to hire a substitute PE specialist for operation of the town's summer day camp program at its Jonesville location. And whereas Mila Kramer, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Affairs, has recommended that current Adventure Camp employee Zachary Trump, 7 Maple Line Road, Boston Lake, be hired to fill the substitute position. Now therefore be it resolved that Zachary Trump be hired as a substitute PE specialist for the town's 2021 day camp program, retroactive to August 9th, 2021 through August 20th, 2021, to be paid from Parks and Recreation Summer Recreation Staff Counselors at a rate of $325 a week when working as a PE specialist. A resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for a repair to a portion of Carlton Road following the ruptured water main. Whereas on June 14, 2021, Highway Superintendent Dan Bull and the Clifton Park Water Authority identified a major water main break along a portion of Carlton Road that caused a significant flooding and damage to the roadway. And whereas expeditious repairs entailed the emergency road work and paving of the damage along Carlton Road. And whereas repairs were completed on June 16, 2021 by Callahan Industries, and whereas Section 1034 of the New York State General Municipal Law provides that in cases of an emergency situation arising from unforeseen circumstances affecting public property or the health and safety of the public, the town board may authorize the purchase of service, material, and equipment without competitive bids. And whereas Highway Superintendent will engage Callahan Industries Incorporated for the repair work at and around Carlton Road on an emergency basis pursuant to invoice totals not to exceed $41,580.25 attached. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board determines that the resulting damage to a portion of the Carlton Road due to the water main break within the Clifton Park Water Authority system, as determined on June 14, 2021, constitutes an emergency for procurement purposes under Section 1034 of General Municipal Law. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to pay the amounts per invoices attached, total not to exceed $41,580.25 from Highway general construction emergency repairs, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to accept a reimbursement from the Clifton Park Water Authority for 50% of the total cost to highway fund other governmental revenue, and be it further resolved that the budget shall be increased in revenues by highway general construction emergency repairs by $20,790, and the expenditure will also increase by $20,790. No, that let me start that out. Resolved that the budget shall be increased in revenues to the highway fund and other governmental revenue, and by $20,790. The expenditure will also increase by $20,790 to highway general construction emergency repairs. A resolution authorizing the promotion of Robert Coons III, currently a laborer, to mechanics helper in the highway department, whereas an opening exists within the highway department due to the retirement of William Pitt, and whereas highway superintendent Dan Bull verifies that Robert Coons III, currently employed as a laborer in the highway department, has fulfilled necessary requirements to achieve certification in light, medium inspections and heavy-duty inspections, as well as a Class B driver's license. And whereas Mr. Bull recommends the advancement of Mr. Coons from laborer to mechanics helper within the department, as he has the qualifications necessary to perform the job for civil service classifications. Now therefore be it resolved, Robert Coons III, 115 Pine Hill Road, Clifton Mechanical, New York, is hereby promoted to mechanics helper, grade 5, step 1, $23.99 per hour, effective immediately, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $1,664 from highway fund snow removal D. Pettis, with a transfer of $998 to highway fund general construction R. Coons, and a transfer of $666 to highway fund snow removal R. Coons. A resolution authorizing the issuance of a mass gathering permit to BPOE Clifton Park Lodge number 2466 for an antique show to be held at the Clifton Park Elks Lodge. Whereas Michael Bloss, facility manager of the Clifton Park Elks Lodge number 2466, has requested that the town issue a mass gathering permit to host an antique show to be held at the Elks Lodge located at 695 McElroy Road, Boston Lake. And whereas the gathering will be held on Sunday, September 19th, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with attendance estimated at 1,000 plus or minus people and 60 plus or minus vendors. And whereas Chapter 64.3 of the Town Code requires a mass gathering permit for one-day events where admission is charged. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board is satisfied with the information provided, and the proposed public assemblage will have no effect upon the public health, safety, and welfare of the people and property of the town of Clifton Park. And be it further resolved that the Town Board hereby directs that a mass gathering permit be issued to the Clifton Park Elks Lodge 2466 to take place on September 19th, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. upon compliance with Chapter 103.16 of the Town Code for a tent permit, provided that the town is given a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million, naming the town of Clifton Park as additionally insured no less than 4 weeks prior to the event. A resolution approving the purchase of Dell Mobile Computer System software and related licenses for the sewer department. Whereas Michael O'Brien, Collection Systems Manager, has advised the Town Board that the rack-mounted computer used to perform camera inspections of sewer system lines and equipment has failed and needs to be replaced. And whereas ABS Solutions, the town's information technology consultants, have recommended a Dell Mobile Workstation 5560 CTO system with software compatible with the existing software required by the system. And whereas the Dell Mobile Workstation computer is available from State Contract Group 73600, Award 22802, PM 280820, Umbrella. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the sewer department is authorized to purchase the Dell Mobile Workstation 5560 CTO system from State Contract number PM 282020 and related accessories as listed for an amount not to exceed $8,255 from sewer equipment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the resolutions? Okay. If you could read the headings, please.
Resolution number 185 of 2021, a resolution recognizing Anthony Gerard Anthony Richard Gerard Borini on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
I'll move that we approve the resolution with a second by the entire board with our congratulations to Richard.
Councilwoman Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 187 of 2021, a resolution recognizing James Alexander Wang on his achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
I'll move that we approve the resolution with a second by the board from Mr. Lang, expressing our congratulations.
Councilwoman Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 188 of 2021, a resolution recognizing Michael C. Ruse on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
Move that we approve the resolution with a second by the board. An expression of our congratulations to Mr. Roos.
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 190 of 2021, a resolution recognizing Aiden M. Sherwood on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
Move that we approve the resolution with a second by the board, expressing our congratulations to Mr. Sherwood.
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 191 of 2021, a resolution recognizing Ryan McGoldrick on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
Move that we approve the resolution with a second by the board, with their approval and with an expression of congratulations for Mr. McGoldrick.
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes, and you could see from from each resolution and the narratives that all of these young men have accomplished a great deal during their scouting career. The Eagle Scout projects are just very impressive, and can't say enough about their dedication to not only advancing their rank in scouting, but also their dedication to the community. Okay, we'll go on to number 8.
Resolution number 192 of 2021, a resolution accepting federal funds distributed pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Second.
Moved by Ms. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standart. And yeah, I wasn't going to, my move with the second by the board. Glad you guys stepped in. Yeah, so we received the first half of the ARPA funds, 1.857334 and 41 cents. So that's half. We'll get the other half in a year. Just want to just briefly speak about where we are currently in the process. We had a working group meeting recently. The working group is comprised of Councilman Morelli, Mark Hagan, Mike O'Brien, Steve Myers, Scott Reese, Dan Clemens, John Scavo, Tom McCarthy, Dan Bowl. I don't think I left anybody out. But one of the questions that people have as they read more and more about this subject is how can the funds be used? And there's basically 4 different categories as to how the funds could be used. To respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency or its negative economic impacts, to provide premium pay to essential workers, to cover loss of revenue, to provide government services, or to make necessary investments in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. Excuse me. So those are the 4 basic categories, and within that is eligibility criteria in a very voluminous document that was released by the Department of Treasury. As a matter of fact, there's been many requests for clarification in some of the eligibility information that's been forthcoming. For instance, as I mentioned, there is a category referring to lost revenue. So they give you a formula on how to calculate your lost revenue. And whatever that number is, those are funds that you can use with a little more leeway as far as the eligibility, outside of those four major areas that I had mentioned previously. But it's very nebulous. It does say that it includes maintenance of infrastructure, including highways, so that's pretty direct. But then it talks about provision of police, fire, and other public safety, building of infrastructure that would be funded using cash on hand, and modernization of cybersecurity. You can't use it for debts. You can't use it for pension funds, that kind of, in any category. So there's a little bit more of information regarding what you can use the money under the lost revenue category, but that seems to be the one area that a lot of people are having issue with, as far as what exactly can you use that money for. So I'm hoping that there will be some additional guidance, and it is expected that will occur. Out of the 3.6 and change funds that we're getting, 3.7 and change, 1.6 million per our calculation, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, as we use the formula, 1.6 million would be under the lost revenue category.
Correct.
So 1.6 of the 3.7 change could be used under that category with slightly different eligibility requirements than the four major areas that the money can be used for. I know, it can be tough to follow, but the other thing I wanted to point out was that as part of the first category I mentioned, which was to respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency or its negative economic impacts, there's, just to expand on that a little bit, you can use it to respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency or its negative economic impacts, including assistance to households, small businesses, and nonprofits, or to assist impacted industries such as tourism, travel, and hospitality. So we've discussed, and personally, I believe it would be that the money would be best used, focused on infrastructure. In the areas of infrastructure that we can definitely use it on is water, sewer, broadband infrastructure. We do have a number of needs, as every community does, in those areas, particularly stormwater and sanitary sewer. The other area that was particularly interesting as well was who and what entities you could impact with funding that is eligible under the criteria established. And our Clifton Park IDA had a wonderful program that provided, it was ended up just shy of $150,000 in grants to dozens of businesses in Clifton Park, and that was very important, obviously, to a lot of businesses as we proceeded through the pandemic. I think right now, businesses in general have a lot of business. I think they're busy. The one thing they don't have in large supply is help. Seems like every industry has shortages of people to fill positions. I was just reading recently, Price Chopper's short 2,000 positions. You know, when you go to restaurants, or at least the great majority of the restaurants in town or anywhere around the area, and I'm sure in other parts of the country, you need to expect to wait maybe an extra 10, 15 minutes than you normally would. So, I mean, that labor shortage is rippled through many industries. And it's something that, you know, the labor market pre-COVID was very tight. Now it's just tighter than I can ever remember, and it's so it is affecting just about every industry. So those are some of the areas where the funds could be used. I think the entities that are probably most in need would be nonprofits, and I think they are the ones that have been hurt. You know, a lot of them conduct a great deal of fundraising, which has been curtailed, and might continue to be as cases have continued to rise in Saratoga County and throughout the country. So their fundraising and general activities will likely be curtailed into the future. As far as other infrastructure areas of importance and opportunity, certainly stormwater is one. We did ask Scott Reese to, God bless you, to look at stormwater needs across departments, and there is certainly highway has certainly highway has a number of projects that or is that not true?
No,
Is that
no,
true?
very true.
Oh, okay. I
It's
thought
very
it
true.
was true.
I just think it's hilarious. You're like, well, Scott Reese, you know, did all this work, and no, Scott asked me, what do you need help with, and that's all. I think it's kind of funny you put it that way.
Well, that Scott Reese talked to different departments to
Yeah, because
get projects.
Scott Reese is the one who's putting the list together.
I understand that, but I asked him to talk to departments to get for projects. He is the stormwater guy.
Sure.
Okay, so he's a stormwater guy for the town. So we have a project that we're working with DEC over at Exit 9 with the pond, which is going to cost the town $100,000. Highway, it's not going to cost the town $100,000.
No, it's even more than that. You told us to add $100,000.
No. The pond by Exit 9. That's different from your project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Dan Bull had submitted several projects, and yes, I did ask for some additional ideas because one of the projects, Blue Jay Way, was covered in the by the budget, so that the money was already there and spent. So and that was, we had that listed at 125, yeah. So yeah, I did ask you for some additional ideas there. Along the lines of sanitary sewer, Mike O'Brien has a number of projects and asked him to prioritize those. I think some are more timely than others. But can you talk a little bit about that, Mike?
Yeah, I think
I think the first one was the generators for the pump stations.
yes, sir. We inherited 5 pump stations last year. And there was one more in Clifton Park Sewer District number 1 that we're looking to get a generator at. So I think it totaled 5 generators because, no, 6 generators because my math is wrong. So we have that project, and we have a few other pipeline projects. I don't have that stuff in front of me tonight to be able to get the details, but I can, bring it with me at the next meeting.
So So Mike has prioritized projects that would cover, various geographic areas and districts within the town. So that's another area of opportunity. So again, along the lines of infrastructure, and it is an eligible category. So those were some of the ideas that we discussed. Now there were some other needs that were discussed, but I'm not sure. Again, they would have to be under the lost revenue category, and without additional information as far as what exactly would be eligible under that category, I'm not sure we'd be able to even consider those projects at this point. Some of those needs were guardrails around the common, certainly the fencing around the common, and general park improvements at Exit 9, the new park. That was another one. So until we get some more guidance, I'm not sure we can move forward and really drill down and consider those seriously at this point. But I just wanted to kind of give everybody an update on just some of the categories and priorities that have been discussed. Certainly no decisions have been made. We also talked about replacing the gas pumps over at Highway, and Dan, you were going to get some engineering.
Yep, we got quotes
updated
back
numbers.
already,
Oh, you
and
did.
we're gonna go seek alternate quotes. But it's probably looking to be about at least a $450,000 project, which is about $150,000 more than when I first brought the project up back in 2017. So just like everything else, prices are increasing through the roof, and nothing is ever going to get cheaper. So this is probably the best time to do it.
Yeah, and those pumps are very important. We discussed this at the working group meeting, how the pumps are used by many organizations within the town, in addition to town operations. That the pumps are on when the power is out, which makes them extremely important, obviously, during emergency situations. So that was another, I think, opportunity that needs to be explored further. So that is the engineering estimate.
Yep. Oh no, the engineering estimate we got back was between $50,000 and $60,000. That's why we're going to go back out to look for some additional bids to see if we can get some maybe lower cost estimates. If we just want to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck, and if we're talking a $500,000 project, 10% of it probably shouldn't be an engineering cost. You don't want to have run up the cost that much. So John and I are going to go back to the drawing board, looks like, and see if we can reach out to another few engineering firms that have been familiar with this type of work. So I think we talked about actually reaching out to some local gas companies too and seeing who they work with, because obviously they're building gas, their fueling stations all over the place. So Stewart puts in another one every 3 months. So they should probably have a little bit of insight on that whole process.
So we also talked about looking at two different options, above ground and below ground tanks. I think both have their pros and cons, but at this point we don't know what the cost would be, the difference between the two options. So I think that's another very important project. It would fit the eligibility without getting into the whole lost revenue portion of this 3.7 plus million. So I think that would be, in my opinion, a priority project as well. So we'll continue to drill down on this to so we can have some hard numbers on different projects. And as we have those hard numbers, we can get to a point of making some decisions. I have if a program to help nonprofits with a grant program is something the board wants to do. I did send a draft application that could be used along those lines to help our nonprofits in town. So we do have that to discuss as well. So a lot to discuss. There's really no rush in spending this money. Like I said, I think there are some needs in the community where if we do spend the money, spend some now, but we don't need to spend it all now. That's for sure. But there are some needs and some needs that are more timely than others. So we'll continue to get information and projected cost estimates as they come in. And Mike, you also were working on, Mike O'Brien, you were working on wanted to look at a blended opportunity that would include some of this cash, bonding, as well as money from the sewer districts themselves.
That's right. I went back and worked with Mark on it, and we were able to assemble a hybrid that cut the cost dramatically. I think I came in at the meeting with like $5 million worth of projects. And I think we've got it knocked down to like less than $2 million. But when you blend it all together, it's pretty practical. Again, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but what we submitted could allow this federal money to benefit multiple sewer districts, virtually extend the monies, the benefit to everybody. By kind of taking projects that we were going to do anyways and shuffling how we pay for it. So it looks feasible. We'll just have to see what's decided on how we're going to spend it.
Right. Mike thought it was a sewer program.
I did. Until after that meeting.
So we had a meeting and everybody was going around and what they were spending money on.
Started crossing things off.
But anyway, again, sewer does meet the original eligibility requirements of the program as well. All right, so we'll continue to drill down on these details and get this information out to the board.
Sorry for interrupting.
No,
I do
not
have
at
a
all.
question. So the formula used to determine how much money that we are receiving, is that equal to the amount that we lost? Is that what you were saying? Is that how the formula worked? So they
The
estimated.
formula they give you calculates a number that they consider your lost revenue amount.
Do we know how much revenue we lost? I mean, I think there was, the estimate was about 3%, I think, in past conversations, but is that equal to the money that we're receiving, or?
No, I mean, the 1.6 million is, what they do is they give you an escalator as part of the formula. So you take the actual total funding that you had, that you finished with, and then you add an escalator in there that they give you, which was what, 4.1%, Mark, was it?
I believe what they did is they took the most recent fiscal year after the pandemic started. So ours would have been 12/31/2019, and they allowed a factor of 4.1 to 4.3% growth for the next year, and then you compare that amount to what we actually received in 2020, and that's where the $1.6 million was derived. And then we're not, that's where that comes into play. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was, if anybody wants to see the formula, I mean, it wasn't terribly involved, but certainly made for more inflated numbers.
And then they allow you to project out for 2022, 2023 with that same factor. And then you would compare that to what you actually received at the end of those years.
Pre and post pandemic.
Correct.
Okay, very interesting, thank you. So also, I just wanted to note that I think it's incumbent upon us to be really responsible with this money. I know other municipalities, depending on this formula and their losses, they've got a lot more, 3.7, 3.6, whatever the final total is going to be, is not a gigantic amount, but it is a huge amount of money, and it's costing the American taxpayer, and, significant amount. I mean, it's just staggering the amount of money that is being spent on these recovery fund efforts. So I think we really need to be responsible and not necessarily think of it as spending, but rather investing. So I think when it comes time for us to determine how it is we're going to use this money, that it really be focused on investing. The stormwater, the infrastructure, the stores, nonprofits, all very good investments for our community. This is the public's money, and I think the public really needs to be able to benefit from this. I'm not quite sure that the public is going to benefit from a fence up at the common. I think that is something that we can certainly fund ourselves. But I think these other things that you and the gentleman in this group had discussed are definitely worthy projects. And I just hope that moving forward, the rest of the board will be invited to some of these conversations. We do represent the public, and we are responsible for investing this money on the public's behalf. So I would like our voices to be heard in future meetings. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
I would, yes, just briefly to add on to her comment about our involvement. When we got the first email announcing that we were going to get this very large sum of money, there was also a list of expenditures with it, and a suggestion that one town board member be selected to make the decisions on how this money is spent. There was a department head, select department heads were invited to come and give suggestions, and I'm concerned that it has the public sense of what we do at budget time, when our department heads come before us with our wish list, except they come before the whole town board, and then we ascertain from their wish list what we can give to them. So it's become very internal feel to me, and I'm not sure how this is going to play publicly, because this is a great deal of money, an enormous windfall for us. And although I'm not opposed to the infrastructure, I think the gas tanks are very much needed and will serve a lot. There wasn't any mention of software internally, which would help a great deal. But it feels to me like this is like a bonus. It's like grandma gives you a check that says spend something special on yourself. This is for recovery on COVID relief fund, and I would like to see some things done that affect larger number of people. If we can help do something recreational in our parklands, not just the center, but maybe some of our other properties, provide recreational opportunities for a large number of people. Certainly, I think that we should check with our small businesses. Public safety is important, and would have a large number of people involved. You asked for a working committee. I hope that the working committee not only involves us, but maybe some other community leaders, and we can get some external ideas on, because the money belongs to everyone. I feel like we're not being really wide, broad thinking on this as we should be.
Well, we just started the process, and we are governed by what is eligible and what isn't. So it's there's some strict eligibility. It's just not a pool of 3.7 million that we can spend any way that we would like. So we do need to stay within these guidelines.
Is this the same funding that other towns like Saratoga sent out a survey to see how residents wanted to spend the money? Is that the same?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that's something going forward. We can do some kind of survey to see what the general public would like to see the money spent on within these parameters.
Well,
Because because you are tied down to these parameters.
Right. That is correct.
I would just offer, there was a dialogue initially around some of these items, and when I did go to the working group, I made sure I had the inputs from all the board members printed out in front of me, and I made sure each and every item was brought up during that working group. I have no problem sharing, obviously we're constrained on open meetings requirements, and I have no problem, sharing that seat, so to speak. But I can assure you, the meeting I was at, I made sure that I was representing the other board members.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much, Tony. It would have been nice, though, to have been given an opportunity to participate. In our internal conversations, we did stress the need for this to be maybe public. And I understand we do have constraints. There's a law that, we cannot get together unless it's a public meeting. And we abide by that very, very strictly. This is a large responsibility. So I appreciate you bringing forth the ideas that we had communicated internally. Moving forward, I think, we each have something to add to this conversation. And again, we represent the taxpayers of Clifton Park, and we'd really like to be able to represent them wholly and be part of the process moving forward.
Okay, anyone else? Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 193 of 2021, a resolution awarding the construction contract for the pedestrian action safety plan project to Reichenberg Contracting Corporation pursuant to competitive bids.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Standard, second by Ms. Wallowitz, and these grant projects are great, but they do take a fair amount of time. So I think we're finally getting to the end here, John.
We are, sir. The good part is DOT. We had the bids came in, and the lowest bid was 24% beyond the grant funds that were initially awarded. New York State DOT recognized that statewide these grants were coming in over the engineer's estimate, so they've committed the additional match to cover 100% of the additional construction costs to go forward with their lowest bid. Our only obligation here by awarding the lowest bid is to pay 100% in the first instance of the construction expenses, and then seek the recovery of the funds through a reimbursement request through DOT. The project is for numerous, up to 9 intersections that we'll be completing in the town center area in the vicinity of Clifton Country Road. One example is at Hollandale Apartments, which we've had requests for quite a while, and we've worked with those residents seeking out funding like this, that we would install a pedestrian activated countdown signal. So that's one of the improvements, with enhanced crosswalks across Clifton Park Center Road.
Yeah, this is going to be a great upgrade to several intersections, and we've been talking about it for a long time. So time to get it done. Okay. Any questions for John? Discussion. Okay. Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 194 of 2021, a resolution scheduling a public hearing on a proposal to amend the town zoning code authorizing the installation of solar energy systems and equipment in certain zones.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. This will set a public hearing. John, you will give a thorough review at the public hearing.
Yes, I'll have a presentation available of what the specific updates are to the code. It's approximately, it was about 23 pages in chapter 208 of the zoning code. Basically, our current legislation reflects 2011, when Clifton Park was forward thinking to incorporate ground mounted solar arrays into its zoning ordinance. Since then, in 2016, the New York State Model Solar Energy Law was published, in which Clifton Park was part of developing. In addition to that, in 2020, the New York State Solar Guidebook was also developed and released. So we're basically updating what was adopted in 2011 to reflect what the state has defined in terms of solar energy systems, because they've been defined differently amongst municipalities. Some places classify them as power plants, some places classify them as solar energy collectors or receivers, if you will. So we're clarifying our definitions. In addition to that, we're coming up with a 3-tiered system that basically defines tier 1 for somebody's home use, either mounted on the roof or incorporated into the building systems. Tier 2, which is up to 25 megawatts, and then tier 3, which is 25 megawatts or greater. And the 25 megawatt tier 2 is the community solar projects that we've seen to date. They have all gone through a site plan review process that's incorporated site plan and special use, but we're now codifying in the code under the special use requirements and site plan specific language relative to glare, to solar access, height. We're setting dimensional requirements for bulk and use. So that's being defined in our code. I can say that the planning board has looked at all these items in terms of screening impacts, both visual and auditory, to adjacent properties. But now we're basically codifying that standard in writing as a guide, so it's predictable for both property owners that may be applicants and interested parties that may be adjacent to projects as to what that process is going forward for review.
Okay. Any other highlights at this point?
Just that.
And I will know that, you know, anybody that wants a copy of the proposed changes that will be discussed at the public hearing, that is available in the town clerk's office.
I'll also make sure we publish it on the website tomorrow too, for access. But the only other, I'd say, note of substance is there's certain areas, the industrial zones and B5 corporate commerce zones currently that don't allow community solar. Where we've seen some pushback is where residential is directly adjacent. In those areas, residential for the most part is not directly adjacent. They don't generate water or sewer uses. They don't generate really any traffic at all once they're constructed. And they don't generate any impacts on our school taxes. So from that standpoint, it may be a compatible use in those zones from what we've seen elsewhere. So as part of the amendments is to introduce those into those areas of our zoning code, which may take some of those development pressures off of the CR zone, where the majority of the projects have been located to date, because that's where the eligible large tracts of vacant land can be found.
Right. Okay. Any questions for John at this point? All right, we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanford?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 195, 2021, a resolution authorizing the hiring of Gary Provanchi as Adventure Challenge Corps staff for the 2021 Project Adventure season. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Flood, second by Mr. Morelli. Myla?
Well, Carrie, I actually met through Sue Leonard from over at the Senior Center. And Carrie has many years experience working at college courses. She was a trainer for Project Adventure for a number of years. And our programs have been growing. As you know, the camps have been filling up, and we're getting more interest from the community for like private programs over there. And so we're really excited to have Carrie come on. Once she gets some experience over there, I think looking at next year, we'd love to hire her as a lead. because currently we only have one lead facilitator. So we're just really excited to have her come on board and bringing all of this experience and training with her.
Good. Yeah, she's got 10 years' experience. It's a very unique position. No doubt about that. Unique qualifications. Any questions for Mike?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 196 of 2021, a resolution authorizing Lauren Fitch to serve alcoholic beverages at a gathering to be held at Collins Park on September 26, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Walowitz, second by Mr. Morelli. Discussion. Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 197 of 2021, a resolution authorizing town historian John Shearer to attend the Association of Public Historians of New York State 2021 Annual Conference, September 13th through 15th, 2021.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Mrs. Flood, second by Mrs. Standard. Myla, anything to add here?
All the information for the conference is there, the hotel information. John is, I don't know if you saw it, I sent a lot of material, is one of the presenters. I think that he's excited that they're actually like meeting in person again. It's been almost 2 years, and he's very much looking forward to sharing his knowledge with the other historians and gathering information to bring back here.
And I spoke to him today. He's so excited because he didn't get to go last year. And, he is doing a presentation on a panel for planning the 250th commemoration of the American Revolution. So he's very excited about that. So, and it is being recorded, so people can watch, and we will have a copy.
Yeah, very nice. All right, John. Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 198 of 2021, a resolution hiring Zachary Trump as a substitute PE specialist for the Jonesville Day Camp program.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. Myla?
Zach has worked for the town for a number of years. He's been over at the extension force. The PE specialist over at Jonesville needed to head back to school earlier than anticipated. And because the Adventure Challenge camp had wrapped up, Zach was available. He had worked there before. He was really excited to have the opportunity to help out over there.
Very good. Discussion. Questions for Myla? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barry?
Yes.
Resolution number 199 of 2021, a resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for a repair to a portion of Carlton Road following the ruptured water main.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. Dan?
Yeah, the Town Highway Department, we do a lot of shared services, a lot of which aren't necessarily seen. This one is up front and center because we have to pay a bill. Unfortunately, the Water Authority had a major water main break on Carlton Road. We arrived at the scene. The Water Authority had a whole lot of stuff to deal with, and they were not really sure what they were going to be financially able to pay for in that scenario. They offered up a repair. Talking with the director of the Water Authority, we came to an agreement that if we, no one has these, and worked on it together, we could produce a product that was far better for the traffic that's on Carlton Road. We were able to call in our contractors for the repair, and the highway department did actually a lot of in-house work with rebuilding and grading the road, and then Callahan came back in with material and rebuilding the top courses of the road. So Carlton Road is one of our main traveled roads in town. We expected it to be something that has a smooth ride, and the repair that the Water Authority could do wasn't going to cut it. So we came to the agreement that we would share in that cost to make sure that Carlton Grove is safe for travel.
Okay, any questions for Dan? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 200 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the promotion of Robert Coombs, the third currently a laborer to mechanics helper in the highway department. So moved.
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standard. Mr. Coons is with us this evening. How are you?
Thank you, Dave. So,
Good, good.
So when Mr. Coons joined us, he was hired on February 18th, 2020. We gave a very rigorous list of things that Mr. Coons had to accomplish in a 6-month period of time, for that was how long his probation was going to be. We did not foresee that the state of New York and the rest of the world was going to fall into a lockdown. So unfortunately, Mr. Coons had to wait on his testing and everything, but the real important parts about it is to become a mechanics helper, you have to have a form of an inspection license. He has earned not only his light and medium duty inspection license, he's also earned his heavy duty inspection license. And along with that, you have to be a Class B driver. He earned his Class B driver's license, and not only did he earn it, he has showed great promise in being one of our best drivers. I was very impressed seeing what he's been able to do. So with that comes an increase in grade, so this is going to be a little bump for him, and he'll become our new mechanic helper, who now can inspect our vehicles and drive our plow trucks.
Very good. Are you ready?
all right.
All right. Okay. Teresa?
Oh, one last thing. Sorry to interrupt. We inspect all of the town vehicles, not just highway. We inspect everybody's vehicles. So adding another set of hands onto that is only going to benefit the whole town. I just wanted to make sure you have that on there too.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 201 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a mass gathering permit to BPOE Clifton Park Lodge number 2466 for an antique show to be held at the Clifton Park Lodge, Elks Lodge.
So moved.
Moved by,
Yeah.
okay, Ms. Flood, second by Ms. Walowitz. So the Elks, looks like they have another big event coming up. I want to congratulate them on a very successful car show that attended yesterday, and had over 160 cars. Beautiful day. Anything you want to add here, Teresa? No? Okay. Tom? No. All right. I think it's self-explanatory. Very good. Any discussion? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 202 of 2021, a resolution approving the purchase of Dell Mobile Computer System software and related licenses for the sewer department.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. Michael, how are we doing here?
Well, we're doing really good on the cleaning end of things, but our computer died on us. Not this past heat wave, but the heat wave before, and we had ABS come out and take a look at it, and it turned out it was some kind of hardware problem. It was not anticipated. They looked at the computer and told us that it's not salvageable. So we have all of our data today is done on MPEG video, so it's all digital. It's all on hard drives. We don't do any CDs anymore. So, Ryan at ABS put together a package for a new computer, which, I was stunned at the price, but it is what we need because of the image handling. There's all sorts of stuff we have to get with the computer. The good news is this computer won't stay out in the van all season, winter and summer, and be subject to the temperature. We heat the van with a little heater in the winter, but it's still below freezing in there in the winter. So that's the good news. The bad news is the price point. However, we need to get this. We're losing valuable time in TVing right now during the summer of Crescent Lakes. So we're continuing our jetting efforts, but we're falling behind on the TD end of things.
Well, I understand that this is, a fairly expensive item, but I mean, based on the amount of use that we derive from the machinery and the positive contribution that it makes to our overall infrastructure preservation efforts, I think it's well worth the price to get the equipment back up and running and useful again. So,
Yes, sir.
but I do appreciate your sensitivity to that.
Well, I was just shocked.
Any further discussion? Okay.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanberg?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waller? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. I also don't want to leave the meeting here tonight without just stating how devastated I was personally. I know many of us were when we heard the news of Bria Gifford passing recently. Bria is just a dynamic entrepreneur in the capital region. I'm sure there aren't too many people that haven't been to a Giffey's barbecue over the years. Some of us have been to many, and Bria was a mainstay there, working with his dad, working with other, as well as other folks at many events throughout the region. He Powers Pub over off Route 9, what he did with that business with his dad and family was just incredible. And the restoration of the barn, as he called it, next door to Powers, and just a beautiful. I've been to a couple of events there, and just an incredible job to preserve the look and feel of an older building inside, especially, and then just the incredible overall preservation work that was accomplished to get there. We're very proud to honor him when he completed that project. So our hearts, thoughts, prayers go out to his dad Randy and the entire family. It's just one of those things that's unexplainable. Be such a young, energetic person that we just lost very suddenly. It's a big loss for our community. I can't imagine what his family's going through at this point. And all we can do is lend our support and thoughts and prayers. So God bless the Gifford family and all the people that I'm sure that are mourning, because Bria touched so many people in this area. So, any other business at this point before we go to public privilege? Okay. All right, we'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on a town matter, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward, state your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good.
Come on up, please. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you very much for the opportunity to address you tonight.
Sure.
My name is James Viola, and together with my wife Linda, we reside at 4 Holbrook Drive, which is located in a relatively new development called Windover Farms, kind of running off of Grooms Road over in Rexford. Mm-hmm. And we love it there. One of the things that really enticed us to buy a house there was a very large farm field that was contiguous to the northern boundary of the development. And about a year ago, that was signed over to the town. Since that time, the town came and ceded it and now mows about 25% of that particular parcel. Now, myself and my neighbors have heard different things about what the plans are for that large parcel, which is probably the size of the entire development if you were to overlay it. We've heard everything from just keeping it forever wild to we're going to have a second Rexford Luna Park. A tribute to John Shearer.
That one I think I can throw out for you.
Oh, thank you very much. But the reason why I'm here today, I told some of my neighbors I would come here and go to the people at the helm and say, do you know whether there are indeed any plans for that parcel or not?
No, I don't believe so. I'd have to take a look at it and I can get back to you with some more information on it. But no, I don't know of any plans at this point to develop it or turn it into something that different than what it is now.
We're told that it's not zoned for building homes. But that's kind of the long and the short of it right there. So
Yeah.
we just didn't know what is permissible. We didn't know if it was really wetlands or not, although there's a lot of clay soil there, so everything tends to stay wet for a very long time.
Yeah, Rexford has a lot of clay.
It does indeed.
Well, let me get your contact information after the
Okay.
meeting, and we can look at that parcel. We can give you some general wetland information as well as other information that you're looking for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay.
Motion to
Yep.
adjourn.
Thank you.
Second? Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander? Yes. Councilman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz? Yes. Supervisor Barry?
Yes, thank you.
I'll feel better.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.